Every great empire has its secrets, and every secret eventually comes to light. In New York City, the financial capital of the world, dreams are built, fortunes are made, and sometimes fortunes are stolen. This is the story of Christine Hunsicker, a woman once celebrated as a pioneer of fashion tech, a visionary who promised investors a billion-dollar future. But what she delivered was betrayal, and a fraud so vast it shattered lives, destroyed trust, and left a trail of financial wreckage behind. Christine Hunsicker wasn't a newcomer to the startup scene. She spoke the language of innovation. She carried herself as someone destined to disrupt industries. When she launched Castle, rebranded in 2018 as a bold new model for retail, she called it clothing as a service, a subscription model, a revolution for fashion. It was the perfect pitch. The tech world loves disruption, the fashion world loves reinvention, and Wall Street loves numbers. Christine knew how to give them all three. From 2019 to 2025, the investors poured in. Venture capital firms, private equity, wealthy individuals who wanted a slice of the future. Christine raised more than $250 million. On paper, the company was booming. Revenue charts continue to climb higher every quarter. Profitability is claimed by late 2022. An IPO just around the corner. But what if none of it was true? Behind closed doors, the reality was grim. Castle was bleeding cash. The so-called profits, fabrications. The financial statements, manipulated. Christine created and distributed fake numbers to maintain the illusion. Investors weren't just putting money into a company, they were putting money into a story. A story Christine wrote, and every chapter was a lie. Why did people believe her? Because she was convincing. Slough, ironic laugh. She carried herself with authority, with confidence, with urgency. She told investors exactly what they wanted to hear. That she had cracked the code of the retail apocalypse, that her company was scaling rapidly, that profitability wasn't years away, it was already here. Fear of missing out did the rest. But this wasn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. Employees at Castle worked long hours, believing in the dream. Some left stable jobs to join the company. Some invested their own money. When the truth unraveled, they lost everything. Investors, big and small, were wiped out. For some, it was a painful lesson. For others, it was retirement savings, gone forever. And for all of them, it was a betrayal of trust. Not everyone was fooled. Whispers started. How could a fashion tech startup become profitable so quickly, when competitors were barely surviving? Why did certain financial details seem too perfect? The SEC began watching, slowly, quietly, piecing together inconsistencies, interviewing insiders, pulling bank records, following the money. By 2025, the walls closed in. Investigators found fabricated spreadsheets, invented revenue streams, false audits. The company's books were a house of cards. Christine Hunsicker wasn't just exaggerating. She was orchestrating one of the largest startup frauds in U.S. fashion history. March 2025. The announcement came. The SEC filed charges. Wire fraud, securities fraud, false statements to banks. The empire crumbled overnight. Castle, once hailed as the future of fashion, was exposed as an illusion. Employees fled. Investors panicked. Christine was arrested. The headlines spread quickly. Fashion startup CEO charged in $250 million fraud. Christine appeared before the judge. Her attorneys argued for bail. The government argued she had orchestrated a calculated, years-long deception. Finally, she was released on a $1 million bond pending trial. But guilt or innocence remains for the jury to decide. The damage wasn't just financial. It rippled through the startup ecosystem. Fashion tech companies suddenly faced tougher questions from investors. The industry's credibility shaken. And behind every number, there was a human story of loss. Employees without jobs, investors without savings, families broken by the collapse of trust. Today, Castle no longer exists, but the wreckage remains. The SEC's case is ongoing. Christine Hunsicker, once a darling of the startup world, now faces the possibility of decades in prison, if convicted. The story of Christine Hunsicker is not just about fraud. It's about the danger of blind trust, the cost of unchecked ambition, and the darkness that can hide behind the promise of innovation. In the end, Christine didn't just face allegations of defrauding investors. She stands accused of betraying belief itself. She sold a dream, and the courts will decide whether she delivered a nightmare. This is the rise and fall of Christine Hunsicker and the $250 million case that has left the fashion world holding its breath.